views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the staff and management of WWDB TV.
Well, my girl got the sweetest pussy.
Welcome to
SinCityBounty.com.
Oh, such sweet music. I haven't heard it in so long.
It's been like a week.
It's 2 weeks.
Whatever.
What are we talking about tonight? Have we
I
got
sent
things?
you guys a link to a video.
No, it won't open.
It won't open? Okay.
Did it open for you?
What?
The link she sent.
I didn't even see the link.
Okay, so I sent a link to a Facebook video. It's about these sex toys called ovipositors, which are alien tentacles, possibly somethings, but they deposit gelatin eggs
Oh, I've totally seen that.
inside you. And everybody is totally, I don't know why, but my feed recently, not my feed, but everything I've been listening to recently suddenly come up like weird sex shit.
Gelatin eggs of what?
Yeah,
Just
they're
gelatin eggs.
they're made of a gelatin. They're safe to be, absorbed by your body, but it basically gives you the sensation that an alien is laying babies in you.
That you've been impregnated by an alien. And just so everyone,
That's some specific cosplay right there.
okay, so
Apparently enough.
there's like two different companies who make these. One of them, I'm not going to mention their names unless they want to pay us, but one of them says in the like 2 or 3 years they've been doing this, they've sold thousands of them. And they also sell the molds and the gelatin so you can make your own eggs, so you don't have to keep like having eggs
Thank
shipped to you.
goodness.
So
Like, where do you go for that? You can't go to Target and be like, I need replacement eggs to go up in my vagina.
Can you
Like,
decorate them like Easter eggs?
no, but I suppose you could probably
with a
color them.
Maybe with a natural dye?
Well, most food coloring
But-
is safe for internal use, period, end of story. So, if you got like an organic food dye, you could probably totally
Yeah,
have
but who's going to see it up your hoo-ha?
No, but you'll be leaking clearly colored gelatin for a while.
so it'll be leaking out. So, I mean, I guess if you really want to freak someone
Real
out,
slime trails.
you put one in, you make it green.
Ooh.
Make it green, and then
Or
Vitamin
you
E
could
gel
purple.
caps.
you could just totally green ooze out of your vagina. You know what? There's going to clearly be some sort of video need on Clips for Sale for this shit. But anyway,
And
so
if there isn't, business
anyone who
idea.
knows my strange sexual proclivities knows that I'm highly interested in this. I would like to experience this at least once.
Sorry.
I mean, clearly you don't chunk down a shit ton of money for a toy you use once. I'd have to be into it.
I believe I posted a video either on the SinCityBounty page or the Elexia page of there's also another machine that they've built that masturbates the man, so he comes, and it's for
donations.
sperm donation banks.
Oh, the dick machine.
The dick machine.
Yeah.
Huh?
It's
I'm
what?
sorry?
No, that's here in the U.S.
You
too.
have two?
No, I believe it's Japan. It
you
was
said
Japan.
you have two of them?
They're in the U.S.
Yeah, they're in the U.S. as
Do you
well.
have an address?
It looks like a double. It looks like a washer dryer.
He acts
stand
like he didn't.
set.
He acts like he didn't contribute to the Kickstarter for it.
Right?
Yes, I'm a stockholder.
I could see how the sperm egg depositor thing. Is it tentacly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really? That actually might be kind of awesome.
And and there's like a bunch of different ones, and they get like weird. Sometimes they're just like a plain like silicone tube, and sometimes they're super weird and awesome and alien-y. And yeah, like I'm totally down.
You're
I'm totally down for trying this.
Getting closer and closer to an actual freestanding sex robot.
No, they have those already.
Yeah, there's plenty of those.
You're way behind the times.
A robot? An
Yeah.
actual robot.
Yeah. Abyss. What is it? Abyss, I think. The ones who started out making the real dolls, they have a female sex robot, and they are working on a male sex robot.
I want one that looks like the ones from the iRobot movie.
Oh my gosh, wait. It will lay these gelatin eggs in the body cavity of your choice. So you actually are not limited to any one hole.
Oh,
No. Did you see
You
it pop
can-
out? That's what I want. I want to
Oh
hear
my
that.
God, they're huge eggs.
So they make tiny ones too. They make smaller ones.
This one was the whole size of her palm.
Yeah, but that's because they're going for the shock factor in that video. But they do have tiny ones that are just like the size of a large marble.
Can you describe a typical customer? Well, the real answer here is simply people. I truly can't say that it's strictly one group or mindset or any other kind of convenient stereotype that like these sort of things. People get turned on by many things beyond what our respective societies would deem normal.
And the real doll people say the same thing. Like, you would expect the person who purchases a real life-size sex doll, you would expect them to be that shut-in who lives in his parents' basement or his own basement and weird and socially inept or whatever. But they say no. When they run their demos on the demographics on their customers, there is no one type. And it's normal people, it's rich people, it's poor people. He's like, people save. And when they ask for feedback, a lot of these people aren't purchasing, well, I mean, they're all purchasing them for sex, but the main reason is not for sex, but it is for companionship. They have someone at home, and it's not because they're a shut-in, it's because they just don't want to fucking deal with real life. And do you know what? Do you know how fucking tempting it was, and has been for many years, for me to just be like, I mean, they make male dolls. They make real doll sale, male sex dolls, and they're really, when you consider in the long run what you would pay for a boyfriend over a year, not that much
Why are
fucking
you paying
different.
for a boyfriend?
You gotta buy that bitch gifts. You gotta take him out on dates. You gotta pay gas to go see this motherfucker.
You gotta suck his dick when you don't want to?
Right?
Apparently I'm doing this wrong.
You gotta pay for
God.
guys. Guys, don't think chicks are getting out of this shit for free. We are not. We are not. For about the same cost as a boyfriend over a year, you can have a boyfriend you can change his dick size. You can change his eye color. You can give him tattoos and take them off.
I want to be Will Smith's mom in iRobot, where he's baking cookies with me, carrying my purse everywhere, and just being a regular companion.
I'd like a sex robot like that.
And then I could have, and I want him, if I'm going to have a robot, I want him to look like a motherfucking robot.
No. No,
Like,
I
want
am
the
not.
full robot experience.
I am not affected by the uncanny valley. For those of you who don't know what the uncanny valley is, there's 2 points. It looks like a robot. We're okay with it. It looks a lot like a human. We are okay with it. But that valley between, where it's sort of in between human looking, that freaks people out a lot. That does not freak me out a lot. I would want them not to look like a robot. I want them more human-like, and actually, the more robotically human-like kind of turns me on. So I'd be down with. I like weird shit.
I actually think I'd be more robot-like, because if it's like Jetsons kind of shit, then I don't know. I might be down.
I mean, I don't need data. I do need data.
What about you guys? You guys in chat on
You into the
Facebook,
weird
would you,
stuff?
what kind of sex robot do you want? Do you want a human-looking one or a robot-looking one? Or do you not want robots at all? Because, like in iRobot, they will eventually try to take over the world. So
No, as long as we put in fail safes.
the 3 laws.
A kill switch. Bloop. Dead. So, also, what weird sex toys are you into? Like, I'd totally be down for an
The egg-laying
ovipositor
tentacle.
I have never met an egg-laying pentacle.
Egg-laying tentacle thing.
Yeah, I'd be down for that.
Egg
I mean,
closeter?
I've already
Wait, okay,
sort of
so
got a tentacle dildo, so...
let me ask.
Ovipositor.
So if you have an ovipositor, is this something that you deposit yourself or someone else deposits for you? Like, are you going to call one of us to come over?
Well, you could do
and
it
be
yourself,
like,
but...
hey, I need a deposit, and then we're like, all right, we'll be there with the eggs. Like,
No, you could do it yourself, but...
You know,
imagine how much fun it would
I
be to
feel
be
like
you
if
doing it with a
If they
partner.
were to inject the eggs that you posit with like analgesic or backache pain reliever,
why?
Cannabis.
you know,
Cannabis.
Holy balls, if I could get high with one of these. Yeah.
I mean, they're just gelatin, right? So gelatin is like a
Yeah.
carrier, so you could just
Yeah,
inject
It's
it.
Friday night, Toxi. You gotta come
time-release
over and put
capsules.
my weed egg up in my poo-pah.
Listen, I needed to go in further this time, man. Last time it,
Let's try it in the butt, because the last time it didn't work quite so well.
It's like
then I'm
a
Will you put your alien eggs in my ass?
it's like a sexy suppository.
yeah. And I'm assuming when I have to make noises too, and I'd be like, "Meow," or I
Wait,
don't
wait.
even- like what do aliens do?
Wait, hold the fuck up.
repository,
True,
right?
True.
Aliens don't go memer.
Have you met one?
Kapla!
No, like if you watched on that thing, they go like meep 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 meep. What?
I think that's a Muppet.
It might have been from Sesame Street or one of those. But it opens its mouth and it's like meep 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 meep.
Oh God. No,
No,
that's
not beaker. It's those
the meepers with the
little
big.
meep, 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 meep. Yeah, that's it. And their little jaw goes like.
William says, I want a sex robot that looks and sounds like EDI from the Mass Effect video game.
Yeah,
I don't know that
yeah.
reference.
Who did Robin Williams play? He also played an alien or a robot. He played a robot.
You
And
did?
Mrs. Doubtfire,
Yeah.
but probably not what y'all are talking about.
There are some people that are into the Mrs.
Mark!
Doubtfire look.
Oh, Mork. No, Mork.
Well,
Oh,
not
yeah,
just Mork. He played an alien. Yes, Mork and Mindy. But he played a robot that
Bicentennial Man.
That's it. I knew it was going to come out of my head sometime. Bicentennial Man. It started out as a robot and ended up looking like Robin Williams. He passed through the uncanny valley and he spent 100 years fighting for his rights as an autonomous being.
Spoiler alert.
That movie's been out for 20 years, dude. Seriously, if it's been more than 48 hours, you can fuck spoilers right out the window. Speaking of spoilers, one of my friends did the most amazing thing ever. She started a Game of Thrones spoilers closed group so that immediately following the episode, you could all get in there and just start fucking discussing it online. And I was like, this is the most brilliant thing ever. If you and your friends don't want to spoil something for your friends who have not seen it yet, start a group. A private group or a private chat or something.
Just put on the top of your post that spoilers inside or something like that.
No.
We belong
No,
to that IBJI group.
Yeah.
And one girl said, "Can we please talk about Game of Thrones?" And I read the entire thread last night. It's 200 and something comments. It was great, and there were people in there who was like, "Are you spoiling shit? We told you up at the top we're gonna talk about Game of Thrones. What the fuck?"
Don't read the goddamn thing. If it's a spoiler alert, just scroll on by. You don't need to click on see more comments. Scroll the fuck by. Jesus fucking Christ. Spoiler alert. The Ice King dies. And Arya kills him. So fuck you guys.
That was badass, though.
That sure was, because she was like, I saw the one ice general's hair just went, poof, and I went, fucking Arya, and then she comes in, whoa, I'm recreating this is a fucking spoiler. She comes in, whoa, with all of her God of many faces skills, and he's like, ha ha, bitch, I stopped you. And she's like, oh, but I'm not left-handed. Boop, ching, stabs his ass. I was like,
So I went on Twitter last night and read through the GOT hashtag, Game of Thrones hashtag, and I fucking love Twitter. So there's so many memes up there, and there's so many little videos and stuff. My favorite, it's always my favorite, is when they put epic scenes like that to the theme from Titanic. So it's the only one that I liked and saved, because I just can't stop watching that.
it was fucking wonderful. That's what it was. All right, so enough Game of Thrones, because Toxi has nothing to talk about
I'm
now.
all about
She's
to
our tiny,
start
small-
writing.
What are you watching?
I have the last episode of Shameless to watch tonight.
Is it the very last episode?
No, it's just this season. Finale, the most recent.
I had to stop watching that show.
Too close
I
to
know.
Yeah.
That's why I started watching it.
You were like,
It was for the same thing. I'm like, oh, this feels comfortable.
yeah, right? It's like, oh, I know these people. I know you, and oh, I've dated your ass. Yeah.
So how are you feeling about this season so far?
Oh, it's, I love the show. It's just one of those, I always love having some shows that I can watch and not have to think about. And it's it's whatever. So it's whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not thinking about
I have
it
no
show.
kind of feelings about the show under any circumstance. So
The last one you had any feelings about was The Office, right?
I still watch that daily. I don't necessarily feel like I'm numb to The Office now. I've watched it so many times. But no, the last one I probably, got in my feels because I stay away from stuff that makes you feel things. But the last thing that got me really, really feeling something, and it was rage. It was incredible rage. And I can't remember if we talked about it on here, but it was that documentary about the guy who kidnapped this girl, and the parents.
Oh, I heard about that.
Oh, fuck. I
It was
can't
on
think of what it's
Netflix.
called. Someone can remember in here. It's on Netflix, and basically what it is that he kidnapped this girl, and the
Is that
parents
taken in plain sight or something like that?
abducted in plain sight.
Abducted in plain sight.
She was kidnapped twice by this neighbor, and the parents were so complicit in all of this. They were complicit in their daughter's kidnapping, in her, sexual assault, in her being raped as a child by this neighbor. At one point, the mother was having an affair with the neighbor. This is after the first time he kidnapped her. At another point, the father actually gave him a blowjob because they were riding together in a vehicle. This is the best. Not the best, but the best. The kidnapper said the neighbor friend, that he needed some relief. So obviously you do what a good neighbor does, and you pull the vehicle over and give your neighbor a blowjob.
This is based on a true story?
This is
or-
100% a true story. It is, okay, so if you watch this, it is the worst thing you will ever watch, knowing how real it is and knowing how angry you are at seeing these parents on the screen. Now, the father has since died since it was filmed. He died sometime around Christmas. But the fact in knowing that these parents made money off of this, the second time when she was kidnapped, it took them so long to call because, again, the mother had been having an affair with him. The father gave him blowjobs, didn't want anyone to know. And so bottom line, if something happens with my kid and me giving a blowjob is like what, the shame piece is what's holding back my child's safety. Like, I will take out a fucking billboard and I will be like, I gave Donald Trump a blowjob. Like, whatever, I will say whatever I need to say and tell anyone what I did. If it meant, my child would be safe. But this father's like, I can't say anything because I gave him a blowjob, and he's going to tell people.
Has it taught you not to watch reality TV since you're confronted
I normally don't.
Oh.
I don't like shit. Again,
I don't watch This Is Us for the same reason.
I don't watch
But This Is Us is fiction, though.
It
I don't
doesn't
give a
matter.
fuck.
It gives you the feels. I don't do it either.
I was forced to watch like 3 episodes of that shit over at my mom's house, like when my sister was in town, and I was like,
I love that
why am I
show.
I would look up and be like, I'm like, I'm getting one.
No, stop. You put a fucking animal movie on at your house once. I was about to leave.
Which one?
Because I knew it would be like a sad animal finds its home kind of deal.
Oh, well, I
When
watch
you're-
that shit all the time.
No, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'm just not going to watch because I'm not going to sit here crying.
One of the reasons I am dreading seeing Endgame is because I am emotionally invested in the Marvel Universe. I know you're not as emotionally invested as I
Right.
am, but I have heard from people I trust that I need to bring a friend and tissues. I'm taking my kid. This is not going to be good.
So, and obviously no spoilers, but as somebody who's not emotionally invested in the whole 22 part, and as someone who went in having seen Doctor Strange, because, who didn't see that? And
Everyone loves Benedict Cucumber Snatch.
Right. And, gosh,
I love you,
there's
Benedict. I'll have your
maybe-
babies.
I would do that in a heartbeat. And there's 1 or 2 others I've seen, and we tried to watch Thor once, and I couldn't get too into it. So I have to give them a try. Like, I definitely want to go back now and see some. But because I know pop culture, I knew generally what was going on. I knew who everyone was. I knew, a little bit about their backstory. I had seen the Infinity Wars. So I walked in without having the investment that you do. And I needed the same comfort system. Anyway.
Saturday is going to be a day of feels for me because it is Free Comic Book Day. It is also May the 4th, and it is Endgame Day for me. So, and then I have a game night that night with my relationship people. So
How are you supposed to go a whole week without it getting spoiled? My daughter walked into school Monday, and she
I scroll people like Endgame. Scroll.
I
don't read shit.
They spoiled it for her at school. Like,
Well-
she was barely in the door, and she's like, "Don't you say a word! Don't you say a word! Don't you say a word! Don't!" Ah, shit! They said it.
Oh, well, first off, I don't see people. I dislike people, so I don't go into public spaces. Also, I work at a place where most of the people are nerdier than I am, and they're usually have already seen it and know better to not spoil shit. I also have my own cave in the back. The people I work directly with are not as nerdy as I am, so they have not seen it, have no desire to see it, so they're not going to spoil it for me. No one in my household has seen it, so they're not going to spoil it for me. My partners, one has vowed to not spoil it because they have spoiler karma, so they're not going to spoil it.
Even
the other
if
one
it
was
is
like,
spoiled,
ask me whatever you want.
does it really matter? You're still going to
No,
go see it.
I'm still going to go see
yeah.
it.
But it's better to see it if it's not spoiled.
Well, I mean, so
It is.
it is, but on the other hand, I don't get quite as upset about spoilers.
Yeah, me either.
Especially for movies, because I know it takes. I don't go opening night. I don't go opening weekend. I will wait a week. So, for instance, I'm waiting a full week and one day after release, and I got the best seats in one of those luxury movie theaters for less than $40. So, I mean, y'all all paid $60 to go see that shit for two
Who's
people.
paying $60? I
It
paid
has-
$20.
That movie has broken $1 billion.
Yeah.
I'm not
it
surprised.
It started out in it blew up in China first before coming here, and I know that because I heard that on the illegal viewing website it was all in Chinese.
But legally, it's
But I
made it over
couldn't-
$1 billion.
But couldn't really watch it, so I ended up actually going into the theater again.
Yeah, so I'm gonna see it this weekend.
I'm excited.
Me too. But I am also a member of the Disney Movie Club only for Marvel Universe and Star Wars movies. Like, I decline all the Bambi shit they try to send me. I'm like, no, fuck that. But I get, I will get all the Marvel movies a couple of weeks before anyone else gets them on Blu-ray. I get them.
Do you still
Before.
buy movies?
Yeah, I buy them. So here's why I pay for them. Because part of my Disney Movie Club is I get a Blu-ray, a DVD, and the digital copy. And so I have a digital copy of almost all the Marvel movies, and I can watch them when I'm on a plane. I can watch them when
But
I'm out.
anytime you buy a Blu-ray, it comes with all that.
It does come with all that, but I get it 2 weeks earlier before everyone else. Plus, I get memorabilia that you can't get anywhere else. I get a lot of other bonuses and stuff. So
That's the benefit of being in a club kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because I love buying movies as well, and I'll go on to Apple iTunes and buy I bought the entire Star Trek
But you'll buy
movie
it,
collection.
but you won't buy the physical.
No, I like the digital. I love the digital.
I love the digital as well, but I keep a physical so that if the internet goes down one crazy afternoon and my kid's going absolutely bonkers, batshit crazy out of his mind, I'm like, we have every Marvel movie ever, fucking watch it. And we'll probably throw in Cars again, or the Lego movie again, or something like
It's
that.
much like, with me, it's much like books. If I like the movie so much, I will go buy a physical copy of
Right.
it. If I like something so much, I will go buy a physical copy.
I used to be a movie buyer. I had a huge DVD collection. I also used to be a TV show collector. So I'd collect all the TV shows. I mean, Friends. The only one we kept is The Office, but Friends, Friday Night Lights, Will and Grace. Just, I had a ton. And so I ended up getting rid of all of it because it was just too much clutter for me. And my daughter's one who still likes, she had to have Bohemian Rhapsody on, actual disc, like Blu-ray, DVD, and then, of course, her electronic copy, because 37 times isn't enough. So you need the disc in case the internet goes down
Yeah.
or something.
So
That's
yeah,
the only reason. That's why I have a bunch. I got rid of the clutter by getting rid of the boxes. I put them all into sleeves.
Which is a good idea. I really used to be into them, but I can't. For me, I hate buying them now. Like, I'll buy it digital, or no, I can get it on
yeah, the,
Netflix. Or no, I
Marvel-
can go get it from you.
yeah. Marvel Universe and the Star Wars stuff are really the only movies I buy anymore. And again, that's number one, to have them in my house as a collection, and number two, for the digital copy, that and all the extras that you get on sometimes on the early release DVD, Blu-ray stuff. So
You know, I'm not a big fan of all that extra crap.
Oh, we love it. We watch all the documentary crap that's on all. We're like extra bonus shit.
Yeah.
Play all, and we just watch all that shit.
William
So
says
fucking nerdy.
Avengers Endgame was fantastic. Tim says, I have only replied to friends who said they liked it, and I only said I also liked it. No spoilers from me. And he also says that he doesn't have physical media, but he does keep physical backups of his digital library. That means you have physical media then.
Well, you have a soft copy on a hard disk. It's not necessarily physical media. Like he might keep it on like a passport or something like that.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So, yeah, I keep them. They're really the only movies I do buy anymore. I got occasionally like a movie will come across my thing, and I'll like Mary Poppins Returns. Like I got that one because that was a great movie.
Well, I have my favorites. Like Blade Runner, I've got that little suitcase that they came out with all the special DVDs in it and stuff. And the Firefly series I have.
I have
and
a Firefly series.
Yeah, just ones that I really, really like.
I have A Night at the Roxbury.
I have Felix the Cat.
I kept like one.
I do want to come across. There's a couple of Muppets movies on DVD that are like $100 right now because they've not been re-released. Yeah, because right now the Henson properties are on lockdown, so they're not like Disney can't release them. They're not at any other studios, so they're not being re-released. So there's a couple of movies that I really want, but they're only available through used copies, and because there's so few of them.
Tell me which ones. I could probably come over to your house and reenact them for you.
There's like Emmett's Christmas Carol.
Could you work the ovipositor into that scene?
I could. And then I could do like, I don't know, Muppets Take Manhattan. Which one do you want? Follow That Bird. I don't know which.
I'm too tall. There we go. Yeah, I love movies. I do. I mean, not as much as some people I know. Some people I know are like stupid about movies.
What does that mean, stupid about movies?
They get so fucking nitpicky about
the
screenshot or the way this was done or the way that was done or like this one line of dialogue ruined the whole movie or, like I know these people.
You mean the assholes?
Yeah, the people who nitpick movies to fucking death. And I'm just like, and they're like, well, you don't really love movies. And I'm like, of course I love movies. And they're like, well, you don't know who directed blah, 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 blah. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck who directed it. I don't give a fuck who scored it. We all know John Williams is amazing. Like, I don't give a fuck who did any of that stuff. Did it entertain me? It did. It was a good movie. Like, that's all I give a fuck about. Did it entertain me? Because that is what it is. It is entertainment.
Yep.
It is not a documentary for you to dissect piece by fucking piece until it has no fucking life left in it. It's a piece of entertainment. If it entertains you, enjoy it, move on. If it does not entertain you, don't enjoy it and move on. Don't ruin it for everyone else. That's the way I feel about people who hate the new Star Wars shit. I'm like, it's good, it's entertaining.
That's how I feel about people who hate J.J. Abrams' Star Trek.
Oh, fuck you people too.
Sorry. Let's get back to reality show. All right, what else do you want to talk about?
What else is there to talk about? It's Game of Thrones and Endgame right now. That is all that's going on in the world. And ovipositors, which I'm
ovipositors.
And yeah, so basically Endgame, Game of Thrones, and alien eggs.
Right up your hoo-ha.
Inside.
John's got something to say.
Yes.
I love the BBC.
Yeah.
Turns out the BBC...
America.
I downloaded it on I have that app. Not what you think it is.
No. The BBC America.
It's not big.
Has
it, that one.
Wait. I was talking with one of the ladies here before the show. Had a show on the British version of Friends is the only way I can describe it. Absolutely brilliant. The funniest television show
Which
I
one?
have ever seen. It's called Coupling.
Oh.
It's 4 seasons.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. It's
it's
brilliantly
pretty funny.
written. And the nice thing about it, or one thing that you may not know, was that who knows who Stephen Moffat is? Raise your hand.
He's the guy who wrote most of the Doctor Who's.
Right. He is the original writer of that show. And he is also the main character. It's basically about him and his now wife and kind of how they met and their friends and all of that shit. But
That's cool.
Yeah.
see it.
If you get the BBC News app, though, nothing about cock on there. Not a thing. But actually, I
Like I
like
care.
British TV shows, too.
I'm a big fan of British TV shows as well.
Oh,
Me
yeah.
too.
Well, a lot of the American shows are basically remakes of the British shows.
Right.
British
Which is where
and
The Office-
Japanese
which is
and-
where
House
The
of
Office
Cards was
came from.
originally a
Yeah.
British show.
Yeah.
So.
I don't like the original Office, the British
So
Office.
I actually.
Oh, I do. God, I loved it.
I have that. I do have on DVD.
The British Office?
Yeah, I prefer the U.S. Office.
Me too.
And if you love The Office, you're not supposed to say that apparently, but
Elmo in Grouchland? Is that one of the movies?
There could be Follow That Bird.
No, there's Emmett's Christmas Carol or Christmas Special or something. I have it saved on my Amazon wish list. I'll go look it up later. But anyway, so as you all know, we are entering into a new election cycle. There are 867,000 Democrats running for president. And there are 2 Republicans. There is an opportunity for you Republicans to fucking redeem yourselves and pick a different candidate to run for president. In case you did not know, the incumbent president does not have to win the nomination for the next presidential candidacy. And if he does not win his party's nomination, he has to run independently. So here we go. Presidential candidates. This is as of April 25th.
Honestly, we probably don't need to go through the entire list because
No.
there's a lot, and most of those names aren't known. Like
Yeah.
the top 10 are probably individuals that you're familiar with, but once you pass,
This is
point.
Sierra and I have had this conversation already, and we went through the entire list.
We did.
And
We read their taglines and everything. Like
one
we
of the
read them
most
all.
amazing things is, for those of you who watch the show regularly, know that Sierra is a true to the heart libertarian.
I'm a card-carrying, registered libertarian voting.
She is considering changing her voting affiliation, party affiliation,
So that I can
to
caucus.
Democrat, so she could be
So I can caucus for the Democrats.
and vote in the primaries.
I've
So you
been
don't have to hear about us
swept into
blaming
the
you.
two-party system.
I-
Even though it wasn't me, if you look at the statistics, it was Democrats who failed in the last election cycle. It was not that more Republicans voted. It was not that more people voted third party. It was that less Democrats voted, period. And that's why Donald Trump won. So vote, bitches.
Electoral College.
The Electoral College would have been swung if more Democrats had voted in the states that they had previously voted in.
Yeah, right.
We've had the Electoral College discussion in here before. We're not all in agreement of the Electoral
Yeah,
College.
I hate the Electoral College.
And you don't.
I don't.
You're the opposite. And I feel it's an antiquated process that makes it to where one vote doesn't equal one vote. Depending on where you live, your vote matters more. And everybody
If you live
says,
in Montana, your vote, one person's vote,
Right.
is worth 10,000 other people's vote.
So, and the whole purpose of that is so California doesn't, have more power to vote, but California has more people. If you're just going
Yeah.
one, I mean,
But we're not a we're not a political show. Yeah, we are. So, in case you didn't know, recently Uncle Joe Biden has decided that he is going to run, as well as Great Grandpa Sanders. Elizabeth Warren is running, and I think that is the reason why I'm thinking I might change my party affiliation. I kind of like Elizabeth Warren,
I like Elizabeth.
but I
Warren.
also like Buttigieg. That's
Buttigieg.
no, it's Buttigieg.
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 Yeah.
His name is pronounced
But his
Buttigieg.
husband said you spell it with boot, edge, and then they put it on the back of their campaign
Buttigieg.
posters, so you
I like
remember.
calling him Buttigieg, but they met on a dating app that I am on, so that's kind of cool. Him and his husband. I mean, I have not had that quality of candidate, but it's probably because I'm not a gay man. But there's a whole lot of people in here. Some people with some of the most amazing names. But the Democratic ticket, or the hopefuls right now, the candidates are varied from old white dudes to young black men. There's women.
From old white dudes to young white dudes to middle-aged white dudes.
There's a black dude. There's two black
There's a
dudes.
bunch
I've
of-
been
there's
told.
actually
some
quite a few
diversity,
ladies
but if you
and-
look, the majority is.
No, look at that.
I've been.
I
through
would
them
say
all.
50% is white dudes, and the rest is everything else. But there's like 3 or 4 women on here, 4 or 5 women.
There's a lot of people who are really leaning towards Kamala Harris. Is that her name?
Yeah, she's a little, as libertarian as I am, she's a little too militant for me.
She's quite militant, yeah.
She was
so,
a prosecutor.
Yeah, I had to,
She
like,
is.
for some reason, I filled out, like, some, like, tell Kamala Harris what you feel about her, what you're looking for in a candidate. And so I, poured my libertarian rhetoric into that. And then I got, like, an email every 30 minutes for the next 4 days. And I had to unfucking subscribe from the Kamala Harris email line. I was like, wow, whoa, that is not how you win my vote, lady. And then I, I researched her a little bit. I was like, that's just a little too militant for me. Little too militant.
Do your homework, please.
There are
Vote informed.
so many places to become informed about who is voting. New York Times right now is the one running the most updated list on who they are, their names. You can use that to Google them to find out what their stance is on anything. Ballotopedia is a great website. They are fair and unbalanced. They do.
Is it that close to where he's able to get out? Has he been in office for 3 years?
Yeah, we vote next year.
Oh, thank God.
We've in a year and a half we will be voting for a new president.
Okay.
Thank you, Jesus, and I'm not Christian.
And there's over 10,000 reasons why you should not vote for him.
Did an article just come out that he has told his 10,000th lie?
Actually, I just saw there is a somewhere on Facebook there is like an up-to-date counter, and the last one I saw was 10,011, and that was earlier today.
Of course, the thing that depresses me a little bit is that this New York Times really, I know I'm pushing the third-party ticket again. They're only running Democrats and Republicans. They're not showing you the third-party tickets. Do your research. I'm not saying a third-party person's going to win, because they're not this time. It's not what we need. But I hate buying into the two-party system. I fucking hate it.
You know what?
Spiral.
We should all change our party to Republican so we could
vote for Weld.
vote for someone else.
So we can caucus for Weld.
Yeah, and then change it again.
But that's only in the primary.
In the primary, that's what I mean. Yeah.
But you can't. During the primaries, you cannot change your affiliation and then go primary for another thing.
But it doesn't matter, because then when you go to the polls, you can tell them, yes, I'm a Republican, but I did not vote for Trump.
That's true. You could put that. We could sway the Republican numbers that way. Maybe that's a hell of a campaign.
And if nobody gets to run against him in the primary.
Bottom line, they've got to narrow this down quickly. I feel like if we keep the water too diluted for too long.
You know what I'd like to see is I would like to see Elizabeth Warren on the ticket either way, president or vice president. And then we can't win with 2 women. You cannot win a race with 2 women on the ticket. Sorry, we're just not there. I listened to a podcast recently said that the neutrality between the sexes won't happen for more than 200 years at the current rate of like fluctuation. So a 2-woman ticket, not gonna fucking win. And there's not really, other than Buttigieg, there's not much on here that I could see really that I like. I love Biden. I think Biden would actually make a pretty decent president if he had a super strong vice president behind him.
They're going based off of a few things. One of the biggest things that I saw a poll today that I want to say like 47 or 49% of the individuals when asked what you're looking for in a candidate, it was electability versus anything else. Electability.
I think Biden's electable. Sanders is not. I'm sorry. I love him, but he is never getting voted into office.
Yes. You over
The
there.
reason I like Elizabeth Warren, I like Bernie Sanders, but I think that they are much more valuable in the Senate than they would be in the White House.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Warren, unfortunately,
She's a kick-ass, badass bitch, man.
She is.
I love her.
She's a little bit tied into her. Well, most of these candidates do. I mean, Biden, the whole thing's coming out about, him being creepy Uncle Joe again. One Which it
Yeah, but he never
amazes
grabbed
me that
anybody by the pussy.
it amazes me that's where, like, we've already said the bar is here, and now we're gonna play like it's not.
Like, listen, our current president is Donald Trump. Creepy Uncle Biden is a super step up.
And there has been nobody that's come out that said he's harassed them or sexually assaulted them or.
No, just that they
Somebody
made him
said
feel a little
they felt
creepy.
uncomfortable, and he apologized and did say he'd be more aware.
You know, I make people uncomfortable.
I would love to see someone who is 45 to 55 years old
Yeah.
as president.
Yeah, can we?
Well,
What was
I know.
how old Obama was
Buttigieg, Castro,
relatively young
Booker.
for president, right?
Booker grandstands too much, and I really like Booker. I thought for a while that he could be a really good option, but he's tied into
You
a
think-
lot, and he
I like
grandstands.
Hickenlooper, but only because his name is Hickenlooper.
Warren and Biden are pushing 70. Bernie is like 140. So
Oh, here.
I would like to
Yeah,
see someone
yeah.
younger.
Stop it.
Someone not old, please. Yes, Margaret. It's right there.
Wait. What about that young, vibrant guy with the orange hair and stuff?
Who the fuck is that?
I don't know who you're talking about. How old is Buttigieg?
Buttigieg.
45 the other day
Mayor.
said, I am young and
Oh,
vibrant.
yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Mayor Pete.
You know,
is
I
like
really, I don't
37.
listen to what he says
No.
anymore. If he's on talking to something, or I don't even listen to news about him anymore. I just don't give a fuck. I listen to what's going on in the House and the Senate because I think pretty much everyone else is ignoring this chump too. Where's O'Rourke? Beto O'Rourke is 46 years old. He's a congressman from Texas. His tagline on New York Times has these little listings. Here's his tagline. This is going to be a positive campaign that seeks to bring out the very best from every single one of us, that seeks to unite a divided country.
So he's actually an amazing speaker. He's very motivational. He's very has a very positive energy about him.
Is he a life coach?
He's a
politician.
He's a politician. He ran against. He's the one who almost beat Ted Cruz. He's the one who came in a very, very red Texas. He's the one who came very close. And then his concession speech at the end was, I mean, that is one thing I watched and I said, I bet he's going to run. He was amazing. But also, Mayor Pete is also a very eloquent speaker as well.
Mayor Pete?
So, Mayor
And-
Pete Buttigieg.
Booty
got-
gig.
How
You
old is
guys
he?
haven't talked about
37, I
Mueller's letter.
No, we haven't.
We haven't because we can't read half of it.
No. I'm talking about the letter that he just sent.
Yeah, he just sent a letter
the-
saying that he didn't.
That
He
Barr
did
was
not-
full of shit.
Yeah, that he didn't approve of that letter that Barr wrote with his quickly summed up summary, and it wasn't what the documents essentially said.
There's nothing happening with the investigation or that letter. What's going to happen? Nothing.
Nothing.
Absolutely
Nothing's
nothing.
gonna happen with anything.
Nothing.
How old is Buttigieg?
37. He's
37.
younger than me. Holy fuck, what am I doing with my life?
He's like just old enough. He turned around. I mean, he's definitely somebody that, if you want to look into candidates, listen to him talk. Listen to any of he's been on a lot of talk shows. He's given a lot of speeches.
Is he always upbeat, always bright, always shiny? There has to be, in anybody young, there has to be a streak of cynicism.
I don't necessarily know about the cynicism. You know,
He's a military vet.
He is a
Oh, okay.
military
There we
vet.
go.
So
That'll work.
he was asked a question about how will you manage being so young? How are you going to manage making, decisions like life or death decisions that's so important? And he's like, well, I had this experience driving a Humvee, the military vehicles, and he's like, and I was driving through this town and they were known for landmines, and if you hear the click, you have to make a decision as to what to do, and that decision can affect everybody. And at one point I heard the click and I thought that was it. It's going, and he had to either choose to calm down, wait and check it out, or do something really huge. And he said, you know what? He quickly ran it through and he said, I'm going to get out. I'm going to check this out. and it turns out it was somebody who came back and slapped their hand on the back of the vehicle. So the noise wasn't, a landmine detonating or a thing detonating. And he's like, so I think I have a pretty good idea at pretty good decision-making skills. So his responses were very...
So here's the thing. Age does not equal wisdom.
Nope.
And that's what it is. That's what he was getting at, where they're saying he's too young. How can you possibly have the same experience as a
Too
man
young.
who is 72 or whatever?
Listen, a generation ago, at 37 years old, he would have been considered well into his adulthood and not too young. He would have been a war vet who had come back from the war. He would be more than qualified to be a politician. He would have been more than qualified to be president of the United States. I mean, a generation ago, 37 was not too young to be president.
And the town that
Of
he's
course,
the
you
mayor
died
of...
at age 45.
Right.
But
The town that he's the mayor of is a town that, has been hit really hard over the years. And he's like, listen, I'm not going to sell you on the dream of going back to what it was. He's like, because what it was, believe it or not, isn't as great as everyone's making it out to be. It wasn't like that at all. And he has essentially turned the city around. So,
Yeah,
anyway,
making
lots-
something great again does not mean taking it back to the time when we had Jim Crow laws, we were ridiculously sexist and racist, and we were anti-gay. Making something great again means making it better than it was before, making it bigger than it was before, and making it something new.
he tagged on the word again, which means that's exactly what he wanted to do, was take us back to a time when people his fucking age thought it was better than it is now.
But it wasn't better. People were dying for something. People are still dying for something as fucking stupid as not being white. Like, they go out in the street because they're not white and they're killed because of it.
They had to pass a fucking law saying that it was okay for black people to have their regular hair. That
Where
you
was
couldn't
this?
discriminate against that.
Where was this?
I don't remember.
I do remember reading the story about the girl who got fired for having natural
Yeah.
a natural
Right,
afro.
and
Yeah.
so they had to pass a law saying that you can't
Yeah, they
discriminate
had to-
against them.
They had to add hair as a non-discriminatory thing. Like,
Yeah.
you couldn't.
What
Like,
the-
how fucking stupid is that?
CJ's in taking a break from homework. Hey CJ, Tim says I like Beto because of Beto
Beto.
because of his legit nerd past.
Yeah.
He could be great for this country moving forward tech-wise.
Absolutely.
Dude.
And the whole thing that they were able to dig up on him was that he wrote for like this underground club when he was younger, where he wrote some really edgy fiction.
Like fan fiction?
Like,
Which is
I mean,
usually
not
sex
in a
fiction.
good way. I think it was sex fiction, if I'm not mistaken. But not anything great, not anything to be proud of. But
Fanboy porn.
something along those lines.
Yes, Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas. That is what I was thinking of. It's like $100 on Amazon.
So I
Is that
could
the one
not
that's-
redo Emmett Otter's
Jug Band
Band's
Christmas?
Yeah, so that one I couldn't help you with.
Yeah.
Isn't that one band?
No, it's a Muppet.
Oh, a Muppet.
It's a Muppet movie.
Muppets can be banned.
There was some Disney, like the Brer, was it Brer Rabbit that's been banned or something like that?
Oh no.
It was Song of the South.
That's it.
Zippity doo dah, zippity a, yeah.
My, oh my, what a wonderful day.
Wait, that's a bad
Plenty
song.
of sunshine.
No, the
heading
song's
my
okay.
way.
The movie that it was
Zippity
in.
doo dah, zippity a, because it's super racist.
I thought that was from.
And they had to
Mary
rewrite
Poppins.
Tom Sawyer.
Zippity doo dah is not in Mary Poppins.
The movie or the actual
The book. The book.
They rewrote it.
Yes.
They took the N word out of it, I believe.
Oh,
So,
They changed the N word to slave or something like that.
they should have just put N asterisk.
Yeah,
I
N
don't.
dash.
I don't think they should censor books.
It's
So-
part of our culture, and if we censor that stuff and we take it all away, we're not going to learn
This
anything.
book was written hundreds of years ago.
Yeah.
so can I mention something not politically related?
No.
Yeah.
And probably better in the first half of the show.
I'll
Sure.
cut the mics off.
There's a.
Only
There's-
I'm allowed to do that,
Is it
by the way.
Spermpositor?
No, it's not Sperm Positor,
That's
but
called a
there's
dick.
this site called Herp Alert.
Herp
where-
Alert.
Herp Alert, where what you do is you take a picture of your junk, you upload it to them, and you get a 2-hour turnaround time where it's reviewed by a doctor, and then they prescribe you something. And on average, in California, in the area where Coachella was, on average, Herp Alert on a typical weekend, each day would get about 12 cases a day. During Coachella, they got a total of 250 positive cases through Herp Alert.
250 positive cases.
Yes,
Do not
positive
fuck people
cases
at
through Herp Alert.
Coachella. They got the herp.
And then there was just another fest
Herp Alert
that
ding
came
dong.
through that still had like 125 or something. So
Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas is going for $67.07 right now on Amazon.
Tim says, Song of the South was banned. No, the song's not okay either. LOL. Sadly.
What?
The movie is from Uncle Tom's Cabin.
The song is not okay.
I don't know the
Zippity-doo-dah?
lyrics. I don't
Is
know
that
the
the
lyrics for the
one?
whole
No,
song.
it's called Bluebird on My Shoulder.
Okay. So we only have about 5 minutes left. What have you been doing this week?
working.
That's it?
I did. I had a call with a psychic. Do you
What?
want to hear about that?
What? Yeah.
Before you tell the story about your psychic adventure, we have a friend. We have a mutual friend, Sierra and I, who
Is it me?
also consulted a psychic.
Okay.
And most of the psychics in the world are fraudulent. I just want you to know this. And they want to take all your money. If they ever start a conversation with, you have been cursed, I can lift your curse for you, and then go into, it's going to cost $1,500.
Right.
Run.
So
Fucking run.
first, I'd have to have $1,500 to consider that as an option, and I'm just saying, spare money not allocated towards bills, different story.
But our friend went and consulted a psychic. He's got 2 friends that do that, who would have probably done it for fucking free.
Wait, who is this friend? Oh.
Unbelievable. So now tell me about your psychic adventure so I can get mad at you
So
too.
here's what it is. I belong to this one group on Facebook. There's a woman that they get a lot of the other women get readings from. She's done parties for them and stuff like that. I went to schedule it a long time back. I didn't. I finally broke down, scheduled a time to speak with her, and it actually wasn't a lot at all. So 1,500's insane.
Well, no, the psychic reading is not expensive. It's
Right.
the follow-up and
Oh, yeah,
getting
no,
rid of
my
the curse.
follow-up did not cost me anything, because I just had my follow-up. But so 3 months ago, and I'll just give a really quick sum. Obviously, I know a lot of it's, it's very generic information. Some of it is specific, and some of it's all in how you kind of, I think, interpret it and what you do with it. So, like, I recognize that she didn't come and make things happen for me or, do things in my life, but she made a suggestion job-wise 3 months ago. And the very next day, I had an interview. I was going to cancel the interview. I didn't, based on something that she had said in our conversation. Ended up taking the job. And since taking the job, I was able to turn around, quite a few issues, things I had going on in my life that I needed to turn around. So that part was very successful. And then I had a follow-up with her just like a week ago. And that she, kind of arranged, and I didn't even pay for it. She's like, I'd like to follow up and talk to you. And that was it. It was kind of cool.
That's good.
So.
It's too bad you don't know a couple of pagans who do a shit ton of divinations for other people.
I wish. Where are these people? Where are these
I
friends?
would actually rather you go to someone that I would have referred you to someone that I know but that
Right.
doesn't know you.
Exactly.
Because it is hard to
It's
give
hard
a
to
reading
read
for
for your
people that you
friends.
know.
Exactly.
When I give a reading for my sister all the time, I know all the shit that's going on in her life, and
Right.
it's so hard for me to keep my mouth
And the
shut.
thing is, if you guys know what's going on in my life, and what challenges I have faced, so you would know to kind of, whether to look for something along those lines or what have you. And this was kind of a circumstance where she didn't know, and kind of targeted right in on it, and that was
So I'm a
that.
big fan of people getting readings. I think it's fun, it's entertaining.
That's it, exactly.
And it's just a guidance for where you should go. It's not like, but if they ever follow up with, you have been cursed and I can lift
I'll
that
give
curse
them
for
your
you,
number. I'll be like,
just run. Okay?
Yeah, no,
So-
if anyone ever tells you you've been cursed and they want to charge you money, tell them to fuck off. You know a couple of witches who will do it for free.
Right.
oh, and by the way, really fast, just because she's older, and the first time we didn't talk about anything involving my love life, lack thereof, what have you.
We're done
And this
now.
time she mentioned it really quick, and she kept saying, gentlemen who are trying to get your attention. That's a phrase that she kept using.
I'm
Trying to
Elexia,
get your attention. Toxi.
And Sierra.
and we'll see you next week.
If you're brave enough.
Later, bitches.
Spoilers next week, too! Boom!